Alright guys, welcome back. So in this video now we're going to be looking at Express framework in action. So in this now you can see Express is a web framework for Node.js which is used to build APIs which front-end frameworks like React and CoConsole, and Express can be used to build web applications. You can see Express performs very well. So about why do we really use Express? We use Express because it's flexible and easy to navigate. That's why we use Express to build our application. So now, for Express to work properly on your local machine like this, I'm using Windows, you need to have Node.js installed on your local machine. So you can go to nodejs.org to install Node.js for your respective operating system. So for now, if I click on this latest version, I'm going to download the latest version of Node.js. You can do the same thing if you're using Mac. You can just come to the downloads. You can click on this Mac installer, then you can see it's going to do what? Download. So you can configure it. Alright, so to confirm that it has your Node.js has been installed properly, just open your terminal and I'm going to say node space -v, so you can see I'm using the version 16, and I'm also going to come and say npm-v, so I'm getting my version. So now when you install Node.js, it's going to ship in with this npm this node package manager. So for your development to scale very well, or to build a better application, you need to have this npm installed globally on your machine. But if you install Node, this comes with it by default. Alright, now since we have Node.js, I assume we all have Node.js installed on our system, so let's get started. So now in this topic of Node.js, of Express, we're going to be talking about routing, we're talking about requests, we're talking about middleware, and we'll be serving HTML elements to the browser. Alright, so I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to call this folder shop. Alright, so you can name yours anything, but I'm just going to double click it, and I'm going to open this folder on VS Code. Okay. Alright, so as you can see, I've opened this folder on VS Code. So I want to install my Express application into it. I want to install my Express application inside this folder called what? Shop. So before I start, I'm going to open my terminal. Then I'm going to run a special command init, enter init -y. Now, if you don't put the -y, you are going to need to answer some questions. So always put the -y. So when you run this command, it's going to give you a packet.json. Now, this packet.json really means to track your dependencies in your application of shop. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do now is that I'm going to install Express into this shop folder. Right? Obviously, you know we are building a web application here with Express. So I'm going to copy this command and I'm going to paste it in. Hit enter. So that should take a little bit of minutes. So it's installing. Alright, so it was installed properly now. So you can see the dependencies. Like I said, this packet.json is used to track your dependency in your application, and one of the dependencies tracking is the Express application, Express package. Now, like I said, if you don't have npm installed globally in your system, this is not going to work. So I need to install a extra dependency, which is the nodemon. So the nodemon is used to run our development server. So I'm going to say npm I nodemon. Hit enter. Alright, so you can see right now I've installed nodemon as their dependency. So you can see this packet.json is tracking my dependency in my application. It's tracking my application shop. You can see the name of the application is shop. You can see it's shop here. So we are building a shopping application. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new file called index.js, not KS, sorry about that. It's JS. Alright, good. So now this index.js is going to be the main entry file for our Express application. Do you understand? So this index.js is going to be absorbing different files and different folders, right? So the next thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to run my development server. And to run my development server, I'm going to say node-mon index. I'm going to say node-mon index. Alright, good. So now you can see I'm running my development server node-mon index here. Alright, so the next thing I want to do is that I want to bring in Express into this application, right? So since we've installed Express here, so let's start making use of Express. So to make use of Express, let me go to the Express documentation and go to the API reference. And you can see to make use of Express, we just need to copy this code. So I'll copy that code. You can see create an Express application. So I'm going to paste it up here. So I'm going to change this var to const. Alright, so now you can see that anytime you make a change, our development server restarts. So what this node-mon really does is just to is to start our development server and track changes in our application. So now basically what I'm doing here is I'm bringing in Express. I'm requiring it, and also I'm currently making a video on some Node.js core modules like the FS, the HTTP, the stream, the path. I'm currently making videos on this one. But if you want to know more about all these core modules in Node.js, you can go to. You can just go to. You can just go to W3 School. You can go to W3 School. You can see Node.js modules, the core modules in Node.js. You can see them here. The file system. You can see the HTTP. You can read through it. It's very easy to. So you can read through them and you understand it. But for now, this is just an Express video. Do you understand? But like I said, I'm currently making videos on this one. Alright, so now you can see I have a variable name named Express. It can be anything, but I decided to use Express. Equals to require Express. So basically, this require means that hey, I want to grab either a package or a file or a function. Right? So if I come here and I say mayor, this application will break. Why is it breaking? It's breaking because of one, there's no package called mayor here. Maybe except a developer makes an application called mayor. Right? So you can see there's no package called mayor. That's why we're getting this error. So I'm going to change it back to Express. So it comes back now. So you can see on line 2, I'm having a variable name called app. It can be anything. I decided to use variable name equals to the Express object here. So now app equals to the Express object. This simply means that this app is going to have access to the Express properties and methods. So if I come here and see app dot, you can see I'm having access to properties, method, properties, method, properties, method. I'm having access to what? Both properties and method. Now all these properties and method, they are all coming from the what? From the Express what? Object. Do you understand? Alright, so the next thing I want to do is that I want this application to run on a particular port number. Right? I want this shop application here to run on a particular what? Port number. So I'm going to say app.listing and this application shop here, this application shop should run on this port number. Let me say 8000. It's going to have a callback function. I'm just going to type a message that says server is working. Alright, good. So now you can see that this our application here, this our application called shop is running on this port number called 8000, and you can also say 3000. Now you might have an error, and if you have an error on port numbers like 3000, 808 like this, the reason why you're having an error is because of under the hood there is another port running, there is an application running on that port. For me personally, I work with PHP all the time. So now if I should run my example runs on the port 8000. If I should come here and change this to 8000, I'll be having an error. Alright, so I'm going to leave this to 808 like this. If you're having an error with this port number, then you can decide to change it to 3000 like this. Do you understand? I can leave it like this. You can see it's still running. It simply means that there is no application running on 3000 on this my local machine. Alright, so since we have our shop application running on this port, we can now access the browser. So the next thing I want to look at is routing in Express. Is what it's called routing. Like I said earlier, I said this app here is equal to this Express, which means that this app is going to have access to both properties and method coming from the Express package here, coming from the Express package. Alright, so I'm going to come and see app.get like this. I'll come here, it's going to take in a callback function of a request and a next, and I'm going to send back a response of this.send. This is going to take in this is Express like this. Alright, so you can see I've started working with routes. Now this is a route here, right? So you can see I'm saying anytime the browser hits this URL endpoint, and by the way, anytime you see an endpoint like this slash, it means you're accessing the parent domain. This is the parent domain slash. Maybe we can have slash about, maybe we can have slash contact, maybe we can have slash staff, maybe we can have slash students, maybe we can have slash dashboard, slash user, or you may have slash settings, and so on like that, right? So for something like this, it means this is the parent domain here. So now anytime the browser hits this URL here, the server sends back what? A response. See, sending back a response to the client. So basically what is going on here is that anytime I come to this URL here, I think I'm using 3000. So you can see anytime I come to this home page here, like I said, this slash here is the home page. The server sends back what? A response, and this is the response it's sending back to us. Do you understand? It's sending back us what? A response back. Alright, so we can have multiple routes. We can have something like slash about. So this is interest about. We can have slash dashboard slash setting like this. So if let me change this to Express dashboard setting page. So now you can see we are having three different routes here. We are having the home route, we are having slash about, we are having slash set dashboard slash setting. So you can see we are having all these different routes here. And anytime we hit this route, you can see we are sending back a response back to the server. So if I come in and I say slash dashboard slash setting, you can see we get the server sends us back a response, right? So let me come to this page and come and say slash about. Sorry, no, okay, let me see. So you can see we have, this is the Express about it, right? So you can see the server, anytime we input our request if the request is equals to something of /about or the home page or /about settings, you can see we send back some response back to the client. So let's say for an example, we have /contact here. You can see we don't have anything like /contact at all, maybe except we come and say app.get and we say /contact, right? Then we have a callback function of the request and the response. Then we have a next. I will explain this next in the coming video. Alright, so then we have something like this, right? But let me take this one again. So now that you can see anytime we come here, we are getting cannot get /contact because we don't have the contact route here at all. That is why. But let's make a middleware that if the user inputs a URL that does not exist on our Express application, it should send back a response instead of sending this message to the user back. So we're now going to use a special method in our Express application. We're going to use a middleware. Now, what is a middleware? A middleware is a function that runs before the request hits the router. I repeat, middleware is a function that runs before the request hits the router or before the request hits the response. Alright, so we are going to register a middleware whereby anytime the client or the user sends a request to the server and the URL does not exist, the middleware should run and tell the user that, hey, this path you are trying to access on this shop application does not exist. So then come and say app.use callback function. I'm going to say request, the response, and next. Then I'm going to say a response. I don't know this next. Dot send. And I'm going to say h1. I'll say this page is not found. This page is not what is not found. Alright. So now if I make a refresh back now, come back here, you can see I'm getting this page is not found. Now if I come back here and I say this, you can see I get back to this route that is what's up here. But if I try to access a route that does not exist, this is what I get, and this is a better message to send back to the client. Alright, that being said, so the next thing we're going to be looking at is going to be the Express router, right? Because as our application grows, we might be having many routes. You can see this route is becoming too clumsy. The index.js here is becoming too clumsy. So we need to reduce it. Okay. Now, so I want to reduce this page. I want to reduce this script, this index.js file. I want to reduce it. I want to divide the routes in some other files. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to call this folder routes, and I'm going to say users.js. So this is going to be the users routes. Let me rename it to users routes. I'm going to create another file. This is going to be the admin routes.js. So now you can see we are going to have two routes. We're going to have admin routes, users routes. I mean, as your application grows, you can have like like staff routes. You don't need to always call it routes at the end. You can also have staff.js. You understand? But you just know that, okay, under this route folder, we have 3 route files inside of them. But for now, we're just only going to have 2 because our application is just a very small one. Now inside this, I'm going to start with the admin routes, right? So this route is only going to be for the admin users, right? So, and like I said, I also want to talk about the Express router. So how do I start working with it? I'm going to say const express equals to require express. Like I said, this require means, hey, I want to grab a package or a file. That's what it means. So I'm going to come here and say const router is going to be equals to express dot router. So you remember when I said this app is going to have access to the properties and method that is coming from the express object. That is the same thing that is going on in this line 2. So this router here is going to have access to all properties and method of this express.router. So if I can say router dots, you can see I'm having access to what? The properties and method which are what coming from the what? From the express router right here. Alright, so I'm going to make this router public so that the index.js file can have access to it. So I'm going to say module.export equals to router. So basically what I've just done now is that, hey, I've just made this admin route accessible by other files in our shop application. Alright, now, so I'm going to go back here and I'm going to copy this part here. Take it and I'm going to paste it inside here. I'm going to change this app to router. I'm going to come here, change it to router. Right, so if I refresh now, this route is supposed to work, but it's not going to work because of some reasons. If I refresh, if I let's go now, you can see I'm having this page is not found, right? It's not found because of what? When the request came into the application, it didn't see any middleware or any routes of the home page. Okay, so in this user routes, I'm just going to copy what I've done here. I don't want to rewrite it again. I'll just change this one to routes. So I'll make it public and accessible. Module.export equals to routes. Then I'm going to copy this one here and I'm going to paste it down here. I'm going to change this one back here to routes like this. So if I go to slash dashboard slash setting, that is not going to work anymore. Alright, so now how do we have access to this URL that is here? How do we have access to all these URLs? Now we need to use a middleware. Like I said, anytime you see app.use, it means what? There is a middleware that is performing a particular task. So we need to register a middleware. So we need to register the user's routes. We also need to register the admin routes inside the index.js here. Do you understand? So we need to come up here. So the first thing we need to do is that we need to bring in these two routes inside the index.js here. So I need to come and say const. I can say admin routes equals to require. So require means, hey, I want to grab something either from my package.json. I want to grab one of my dependencies, or I want to grab a file in this place here. But for now, I want to grab a file. So I'm going to say this on page slash this equals to route slash admin routes. So I'll do the same thing for the user's route also. User's routes, I'll say equals to the require slash route, not modules, slash routes slash user's routes. Alright, good. Now you can see now I've brought in the two routes, right? I brought in the admin routes and I brought in the user's routes, right? So I want to register these two routes as a middleware. Do you understand? So let's do that now. So I'm going to say app.use. I want to use a middleware. I want to register a middleware. So I want to register the admin routes, right? And I also want to register user's route also. Now, this is not complete, right? So now, this use here to register our respective routes, I need to add a path here. I'll set this to the home page, and I'll come down here. I'll set this one to the home page here. I'll change this one to admin. So basically, what I'm basically doing here is that I've just registered a route here, right? So meaning that anytime the client comes to admin, if you come and say /admin, for an example, if I come here and I say /admin like this, now you can see I'm having this is Express. Why are we having that? If I go to the admin.route now, you can see the user admin that we're having this is Express, right? Now if I go to admin/about, you can see we're having this. But if I come and say admin/contact, you can see this page is not found. Now, why is it telling me this page is not found? It's because of we don't have the contact route inside of the admin route, except we do what? We create it. So if I come down here and I say /contact, let me change this one back to contact here. So if I refresh now, you can see it works. It works because of what? We now have the word this /contact inside of the admin route. But before we hit this contact here, we have to tell we have to go to the browser and say /admin/contact. I hope you get that. So let's work with the user's route. If you come to the user's route, you can see we're having dashboard/settings, right? So if I come here like this, you can see I'm getting what this page is not found. Now, the reason why I'm getting this page is not found is simply because of one, we don't have a home page in this our shop application anymore, right? You might assume this one here is an home page, but no, it's not. It's because if you come into the user's route here, you can see we're having dashboard/settings. That means that if I come and say /dashboard/setting, you can see this one works now. Why does it work? Because of what? One, if you access the home page, you need to bring this route at the back of it, right? But let's now make another route of dashboard again. So I come here. Alright, so now if I come here and I move these settings away, you can see we have this is Express dashboard. Why do we have this? Why is it working? It's working because of anytime we come to say home page. Now if you come to this, if the client is this request, and when I say clients, I mean the browser. The clients, this is your clients. The client is the same thing as the browser. So anytime the client hits this URL, this home page URL, this user route is going to get fired. It's going to get fired, and followed by any of these URLs that are here, any of these routes that are here, right? All right, so that's that's all about routing. Okay, now the next thing we are going to look at now is we want to serve HTML files instead of serving these simple HTML files that we have here. So I'm going to create a folder called views, and in this folder I'm going to say admin.html. I'll say admin admin.html. I'm going to say admin contacts.html. I'm going to say admin about.html. I'm going to come here and say user.html. I'll say user dashboard.html. Alright. But okay, so now I'm going to come with just a simple HTML file here. like this. I'll just do simple like this. This is the admin page. I'll just copy and paste it there. So this is the admin contact page. Come here. Oh, sorry. That should have been about page. Come here. Copies, paste it here, so I'm going to change this to contact page. I'll come to the user here, paste it here. This is the user's page. I paste it here too. User dashboard. Don't mind my spelling. Let's just do it like this. Alright, now, so what we want to do is that anytime we get this endpoints here, we want to be getting all of this HTML on the browser, right? So let's get started. So I'm going to collapse everything I have here. I'll collapse this. Also, I'm going to create a file for 404.this. It's a page not found. Like that. Okay. Alright. So we'll start with the admin route now. So you can see this is the home page here. So instead of serving this one, let's have the admin.html here. Let's have it. So let's do that one. Alright, so now, alright guys, let's, okay. Now, to start this admin.html here, I'm going to bring in one of the core modules in Node.js, which is the path module. Do you understand? So I'm going to say const path equals to require path. So basically what I'm trying to do here is that I'm saying require path. So this path is in Node.js. If you want to know more about the path module, you can come to the path module here. You can go to the, if you come to Node.js docs, let's go to the docs, come here. Now if you scroll down, you see the path. What is it? The path module. Now you can see the path module, right? So the path module, basically I want to join files together. I want to join file and locate some files. So that's what I want to do. So now instead of saying app.send or rest.send, I'm going to say rest.send file like this. So I'm going to say path.join, meaning that I'm trying to locate this admin.html. That's what I'm trying to do. So I'm going to say the door name. The door name is the shop application. It's a shop application. That's the door name. Alright, so in here, I'm going to come here, /, meaning that I'm going to level up. Meaning that I'm trying to locate, I'm leaving this root folder, that's what it means. So the next one is going to be views. Followed by admin.html. HTML. Yeah. Alright, so this one should work here. So if I go back now and I come here, you can see the page is not found. Admin. So I come to the admin/admin. Now you can see this is the admin page here. You can see we're getting the admin page here. Let me just add a paragraph here. The lorem, that's a simple one. Refresh so you can see it here. Alright, so I give you a challenge. try and display the HTML for admin about, try and display it for contact admin contact. So try and serve this HTML file for anytime the user comes to slash about here, you should try and display this admin about. The user comes to slash contacts, you should try and display the admin contact there. Alright, so I'm going to come back to the index.js here. Now you can see we have this right here. Okay? So instead of having this here, I'm going to take it away. I'm going to say this was send file. I'm going to say path.join, the door name, and I'm going to say views. Views, and this is going to be 404.html. Alright, now if I try to locate a request, a URL does not exist on our application, I should be getting page not found, but for some reason I'm getting path is not defined. Alright, okay. So the reason why I'm getting this error is because if you look at it, it says path is not defined, which means that we didn't define the path variable. So you can see in the admin route, I'm defining the path variable. So I'll copy and I'll paste it here. Then I believe this should go back. I'll refresh, so you can see page not was found. The page was not found. Alright, so I also want to give you another challenge for this user route. So if you go to the user route, you can see we're not serving any HTML files, right? I want you to serve the users of HTML for this dashboard. I want you to serve the users dashboard anytime the user comes to dashboard/setting. I want you to serve this one here. Alright. So the next thing we're going to be looking at is that we're going to be looking at that special middleware in Express application. So that's middleware is we want to store our images and our CSS files, our JavaScript files. What I'm trying to say is that we want to store some public stuff inside our shop application here. So I'm going to create a folder called public. Now in this public here, anybody can access this public. We can have our CSS folder, we can have our JavaScript folder, we can have our CSS folder, we can even have our images folder. Now this public folder, what it's really doing here is just keeping our public information. Do you understand? Just keeping our public information. So now, for able to make use of this public here, we need to register a middleware, right? So I need to come and say app.use, which is express.static. So you can see when I say static, so I want to start serving static files. That's what I want to start doing, serving static files. So I'm going to say app path.join, path.join, the directory name, followed by the folder name. So you can say public. So I'm saying I want to join the public directory with the shop, and I want to access some things here in the public folder. Alright, so let me create a main, or let me say error.html. Sorry, not error.html. That should be error.css. So in here, we don't have the body, and the background color is going to be, I'll just say red. Now, that's a simple one. Alright, so I want to say change this thing to the background color of red. So how do I do it, right? So I'm going to go into my views now, go to this file, and I'm going to come down here and say link, and I'll say /css /error.css. Then this stuff here should work. So when I make a refresh now, it turns to red, right? So why is it really working like this? It's working like this because of what? Of this middleware, right? By serving static files, of this was middleware. That is why. Now you might be wondering, why are we not using public like this? This should work, right? But if you make a refresh, it's not going to work. For some reason, if you want to start your static file, this is the way you do it. Do you understand? This is the way you do it. You want to have things like images, JavaScript files, your images, CSS files, like other things that should be involved with the public. This is the way you do it. So I'm going to come back here. Alright, so this is where I'm going to start for this lecture. In the incoming video I'm currently working on, we're going to be turning this HTML, this project here, we're going to be turning it into Express application. And in the video, I'm going to be introducing a software design pattern called the MVC. We'll be working with the template engine in the next slide. So in this video, what I want you to take out here is something very simple, is routing in Express and how to use middleware. I know I didn't really go deep into middleware, but as you can see, I want you to understand how routing works and how we use the Express router, how we divided our routes inside different routes, inside different JavaScript files. Alright, so if you have any questions, please just let me know. I'll be making another video again in the next coming days where I'll be turning this application here into server side. Thank you.